Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Feel It to Heal It podcast. Today, I'm having on such a special guest. We are going live on Instagram, so you have all the options of where to listen to this. I am going to hop on and invite her in and stay tuned. I'm so excited for this episode. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday and welcome to our live. I'm so excited. It's not morning tea live, but it is the afternoon and I drink tea all day. So welcome to Afternoon Tea Live. Today, I'm having on a very special guest, Gianna. We are going to be talking all about cyclic living, womb healing, intuition, gut health, like literally everything you need to know for your health, emotional, physical, all the things. So Gianna and I met through the spa that she works at. I just finished my program with my naturopath Arabella, and she had recommended, I was doing this liver cleanse. She had recommended I get a colonic. And I was like, what is that? For those that don't know, life-changing. You've got to go see Gianna and get one. Anyway, so I booked my very first colonic. It's colon hydrotherapy, life-changing. Found out I had parasites, did all this healing. Anyway, so Gianna and I get chatting, and we discover we're both healers, and we're both like doing all this gut healing, and we're just vibing and connecting and chatting like while she's cleansing inside of me. It's very intimate, but it was beautiful and life-changing. Anyway, so that is how we met. And I was like, we need to get her on alive and share her wisdom because she is so fucking wise and magical, and just her energy is contagious. So I think she hopped on. You guys can drop any questions below and let me accept her request. Let's see if that worked. Yay!
What an incredible introduction. I love that you put that in there about how we met because it's
Right?
honestly a game changer. I'm so excited.
I mean, it's not every day we're just like bonding while you're also like cleaning my insides. It's like the most intimate.
To connect in a beautiful and intimate way.
I know. We wasted no time. We're like, yes, straight to it. So
I love it. Thank you so much for having me on. I feel so honored that I get to chat with you about all things, and just connect with you again and share our wisdom and our love and all the things. I'm super excited.
Yes, thank you for coming on. I'm so excited. I was like, we need to have you on ASAP. This is going to be so good.
I love that we're both wearing yellow today.
I know. I was going to say the sunflowers, and I'm wearing yellow. We're bringing some, sunshine to this very rainy, chilly San Diego day. So
Love it.
yay. And I love that you're tuning in from the spa too.
Solar energy.
Yes. All right. So I always love to start with just a little grounding, and then maybe we'll do some intros and then we can dive into the topic. How does that sound?
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm so here for it.
Okay. So everyone sit up nice and straight, rolling your shoulders up and back. Just taking a big deep breath in, settling into your body in this present moment. Noticing any sounds or distractions in your environment. Noticing any thoughts coming up. And just imagine placing each thought on a cloud in the sky or a leaf in a stream, watching it float away, knowing you can always come back to it if you need to, but for right now, just refocusing on the breath. And then bringing your awareness into your body, noticing any body sensations, noticing any areas of tension or tightness. And doing a quick body scan, relaxing your brow line, your jaw, your shoulders, your heart, your chest, your abdomen, the base of your spine. Noticing any tension in your legs or toes or fingers or arms. And sending an intentional breath into any part of the body that needs it most. And then noticing any emotions that need to come to the surface, any stuck, stored, old, or stagnant emotion, or any new or raw emotion, and just allowing space for any and all feelings to come to the surface, knowing you are safe to feel however you're feeling in each present moment. noticing any resistance to slowing down, to being in this present moment, to being in your body. Noticing the mind wanting to pull you out with thoughts or distractions or rumination. And deepening your breath to show your body you're safe to just be here. Taking a few moments to notice what it feels like to be in stillness. And now together, let's take 3 long deep breaths. So you can place your hands on your heart space or your abdomen or your legs, whatever feels best for you. And we're going to start with the first inhale. You're going to breathe all the way into your abdomen, sending the breath through your chest to the crown of your head. Holding at the top and slowly release. And again, breathing all the way in. Holding at the top and slowly release. And again, breathing all the way in. Holding at the top and release. And then just allowing your breath to return back to its natural rhythm. Noticing if anything has softened or shifted or if anything new has shown up. And when you're ready, you can start to take any small organic movement, maybe some neck rolls, anything that your body's asking for as we start to come back to the present. Gently opening the eyes, maybe a little side stretch, and just noticing how your body's feeling. Oh, how did that feel?
Thank you for that. That felt so good.
Good. I'm so glad. All right, let's do some intros. So for those that are not familiar with you and your magic, share a little bit about who you are and what you do, and then I'll share a little bit about me, and then we'll take it from there.
Beautiful, beautiful. I am Gianna, the rooted woman, and my heart in my work is to bring so much love and education into everything that I do. I am a colon hydrotherapist, a lymphatic drainage specialist. I work with women specifically in the womb space and identifying our traumas and getting really educated and clear on what the womb entails. What does that even mean for me? How can I identify the womb and tap into my intuition and heal from all of this trauma and all the things that are going on? And so I get to, I have the incredible pleasure of being a visionary in the space of creating workshops and events and programs for women specifically to come to and really get educated and empower themselves through this education and heal ourselves and tap deeper into our intuition. And so that's a little bit about me. I mean, the list goes on, but these are the things that I would love to share today and really where my heart is. And I just feel so, so grateful to be in the space to provide this education and the tools for healing and supporting ourselves. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Yay! Thank you so much for sharing that. That's all beautiful. And for those that may not know me, my name is Rachel. I'm the founder of Rachel Kelly Coaching. I used to be a clinically trained, well, I am a clinically trained therapist. I used to work in the traditional therapy field, ended up burning all my licensure papers and deciding to pivot full time into this online healing world. I help people rewire their nervous systems out of survival mode and into abundance, safety, connection, and expansion so that you feel safe to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. So I focus really on trauma processing, inner child reparenting, anxious attachment healing. It is just my life's purpose to help heal the past so that we can actually create a new earth filled with connection and peace and safety rather than perpetuating trauma. So that's a little bit about me. So let's see where to begin. I'd love for you to share with our viewers just like, how did you get started with gut health and womb healing? Like what took you from, like with my story, it's like I was a burnt out therapist and then I wasn't in alignment and then I healed my nervous system. Now I'm in alignment. Like what's your like before and after story or like a snippet of it?
I love it so much because We talk about this so much. We're so many things that we involve ourselves in, and so much of our gifts and our passions really derive from our own trauma and our own experiences. And so with womb healing, I had no idea what that was. I was never taught about my cycle, was never taught about my hormones, was never taught about the intuitive nature that we have as women. And so through my own traumas, I want to say about 2018, I started really kind of awakening into, wow, there's something so much deeper in here. What is this intuition people are talking about? This gut sensation, this gut feeling that we hear about all the time. What does that actually mean? And so through, I guess I'll just dive really deep and get real personal. In 2020, I actually ended up having my first miscarriage, and I was not expecting pregnancy. That was not something that was on my heart, in my mind, was not a plan. And through that, I was coming out of a really unhealthy relationship. And when the miscarriage happened, everything within me was like, I need to figure out how to heal. Like, what is it about my body and my mental space and my life that can't support and sustain the growing life inside of me? And so I really dove deep into womb healing and what that even meant. So I did a bunch of Googling. I literally bought every book you could possibly find on womb healing and intuitive nature and feminine cycles, and just dove really deep into understanding what that meant. And so I pretty quickly came across the incredible modality of yoni steaming. And you can talk more about that as the time goes on. So that was the first introduction that I had into like womb healing, the physicality of it. So what does that look like? Okay, yeah, in essence, like my womb is this, and I can like heal it through a bunch of this understanding. But bringing this physical practice into my life changed my life and has become an incredible power tool for me to use, and also in turn became something that I now offer to other people, which has been amazing. So it really is so much about bringing awareness into our body and identifying where we're feeling things, what we're feeling, and the power that our womb can actually hold, and kind of tapping back into that space, because all of the information that I share is not new. It's not like I'm reinventing this wheel. A lot of it, it's all ancestral. This is I think very intentionally we've been blocked from this information being passed down from our ancestors and from our culture and our lineage. And so it's an incredible thing that I'm getting to dive back into the roots of where these derivatives come from and understanding it deeper, and talking with older women who maybe have come from backgrounds where this healing was a part of their life and their lineage. And so that's kind of the beginning of how my womb healing journey began. And then through yoni steaming was like, told all my friends, I'm like, you guys, I tried this thing and it changed everything for me. You have to try this. And so through that, I had so many of my incredible women friends being like, dude, like you need to offer this as a service. Like this is, wow, that you just created this whole experience that I never really seen before. I just kind of made it up in my head of what I felt intuitively felt good for me, and wanted other women to kind of tap into that space and introduce this incredible modality. And so that's kind of like the blossoming, the beginning of the rooted woman.
Yeah. Oh, so powerful. Like it's such a powerful example of everything that I stand for in terms of like pain into purpose, right? Of like really allowing our bodies to communicate where our trauma is being stored. And I mean, just so freaking powerful of how you went through that trauma. And it was this invitation, right? Most people go through a trauma like that and they avoid their bodies, right? Because it doesn't feel safe to actually go in and look at what's actually happening. And you used it as an invitation to say, okay, let's look at the root, right? Like, what is the root of why this happened? How is this happening for me? That's one of the most powerful questions we can ask ourselves. But when it comes to trauma, it's a very sensitive one, because we're so quick to go into victimhood or victim blaming, where it's like, oh, well, if we ask how is it happening for us, that means that we're not having compassion for ourselves, or we're blaming ourselves. It's like, no, that's not what it's about. It's about trusting that every single thing that happens to us is for our greatest growth, is for our spiritual transformation, is for our learning and our deeper healing. And that story is such an amazing example of how you use that trauma and you didn't get stuck in victimhood. Of course, you had compassion for yourself. You had enough compassion for yourself to actually want to dig deeper and be like, okay, what is there here to explore? And then through that, you did so much of the self-healing, and then you invited that into a space with other women. And like, guys, there's all this like wisdom that our wombs have and our bodies have that we are just blocked from because our trauma disconnects us from our bodies, right? It doesn't make it feel safe to actually go in there and realize we have so much wisdom, like so much wisdom, not only from this lifetime, but past lifetimes, from generations, and really connecting back to, like you said, that ancestral wisdom. And it's so freaking powerful. So I love that so much. So for those that are newer to like cyclic living, right? And how you use your cycle as a woman, the cycle of the moon, that like all the cycles, the seasons, there are a million different cycles in this world. Like, how do you use that to connect to your intuition in a more deeper way?
Yes, I love it. So,
Yeah.
I so juicy. I love sharing so much. It's something that I'm still, and I want to like put this out there. It's something I'm still learning. There's so much to uncover, and there's so much information, and there's so much understanding our bodies and tapping in. And I feel like the more that we uncover and peel back layers, the more we discover. And so I'm like in that process, and I don't think, I've committed to being a student for life. I don't think there's ever really, oh, I know everything about this thing, And so I love sharing that. So I actually wrote a little something that I want to like kind of read, because I want to stay on track with that and really just be really, really clear and intentional with that. So perfect. I'll read. That's exactly what it is. That question. So the key to truly living your best life, in my opinion, and what I get to share, is cyclic living. So cyclical living means living with the natural cycles, like the seasons, the moon cycles, and your menstrual cycle. Living cyclically is the key to better mental health, physical health, more energy, happiness, and growth. Living cyclically with your menstrual cycle and the seasons is rooted in the idea of syncing your activities, your workouts, your food, all of that with your body's natural rhythms by aligning daily tasks, energy intensive activities, and self-care practices with different phases of your menstrual cycle and seasonal changes. It's believed that you can better connect with your intuition as a woman when you're living cyclically. So for instance, we can look at our cycles as the seasons. So we have winter, that associates with your menstrual cycle, you bleed. We have your ovulatory, which associates with your summer. Follicular is your spring, and luteal phase is autumn. And so throughout these seasons, just as we would in the seasons, your winter, your menstrual phase, is really a time to focus on rest, reflection, and self-care. That can really help you recharge your body. Your follicular phase for spring is really engaging in new projects and creative endeavors that align with increased energy. And it's incredible as we tap deeper into our body's wisdom and really getting deep and clear about how our body shows up for us. And when we're listening to these rhythms, when we're eating appropriately, when we're moving our body or resting appropriately, according to these cycles, our body responds in such an incredible and positive way. Immediately, we start noticing that the energy that we once were depleted from is returning to us. And it's interesting. I'm like learning this whole thing right now about cyclic living, and I'm applying it to my life. That has changed everything in the way that I operate and how I communicate when I go out and do social activities, all the things. I'll get back. The ovulatory phase is summer, and it might be a good time for social connections and networking and reflecting, and you have more heightened energy levels. Your luteal phase is associated with autumn, turning inward, organizing, and completing tasks that may be more suitable as energy decreases. This approach really encourages a deeper understanding and acceptance of the natural cycles, potentially fostering a stronger connection with your body and your intuition. So it's been an incredibly empowering opportunity for me, as I continue to apply this different information and all this wisdom and knowledge that I'm obtaining from books and resources. I'm able to apply these different things, right? Like there's certain times of the month that your body craves certain kinds of foods. And there's a reason for that. We as women, our bodies are so incredibly intricate. They're so intricate. Our hormones are not just like the masculine or the male hormones. Like it's so different. For men, they wake up in the morning and they're at peak testosterone. Throughout the day, it slowly decreases and dwindles, and then they're at their lowest at night. In the morning, it restarts again, and they're at their highest, and it just goes down. For women, we are so incredibly intricate in the way that our hormones are designed that we fluctuate like insanely just throughout the day. Aw, thank you, Jonathan. I love you. They would fluctuate
So
throughout the
sweet.
day significantly. So, I mean, not only the day, but then the week and then the month. And we go through all these phases and cycles that are really a time for us to tune into our bodies, tune into what does my body need from me right now?
Right.
Especially when it comes from, I've been a hustler, like I've been in hustle culture a long time, and I'm learning through deepening my feminine relationship with myself and my body that was actually incredibly unhealthy. Not only was it like, oh, just go, go, go all the time, but I wasn't honoring my body and the spaces that I needed rest. I would just hustle from, freaking 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then do all the things.
Right.
And I wasn't honoring my body. And then I was feeling burnt out and I wasn't replenished. And so, therefore, because of all of this, like bypassing in a way, because I wasn't really tuning into that, which I didn't know, right? Most of us don't know any of the
We're not taught this, right?
We've been so disconnected.
Yeah.
And so, through all of this, I'm recognizing like, wow, I actually really get to honor my rest right now. And I don't have to be labeling myself as lazy or that I'm doing nothing. I really get to give myself grace because my body's asking me to slow down and listen.
Yeah.
And something that just popped in my head was actually the first time I heard anything about like womb massage or like womb awareness. I actually did a shower meditation, and I love my shower meditations. It's an incredible time for me to have that solid enough time just for me to be in the shower with myself and just honor myself and take it slow. And so I put my hands on my womb and I was like, okay, I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, womb shower meditation. Okay. So I put the music on in the background and I'm in the shower and I put my hands on my belly and I'm like, okay, womb, like, what do you have to say to me? Like, didn't even know what that meant and was kind of like, she's going to talk to me? Like, okay, I'll listen. I just didn't even really understand that. And so I put my hands on my womb and I was just holding her and I started sending her so much love. Just my belly. And I was like, okay, I think my womb is like in this location. Like, I don't really know. And so I tapped into that space and was just breathing life into my womb. And for what that meant for me at that time. And my relationship has evolved and become so incredibly intimate with my womb space. And she speaks to me, and I've had like through my progress through the womb healing and understanding my body, my cycles, my periods have completely changed. Absolutely. I used to have really, really painful menstrual cycles, periods, cramping, heavy bleeding, all the things. And it was just sporadic. I never really knew when it was going to come. And it was obviously affected for many years by hormonal birth control, which is a whole nother topic.
Yeah, gotta do another live on that.
And so throughout the deepening into my relationship of trying to understand her and asking what she needs from me, is it slowness? Is it stillness? Is it, I don't know, ice cream? I'm tapping into space and really developing a relationship to where now, where my cycles used to be so painful and so heavy and so just unhinged, now I have an incredible relationship where I know exactly when my body is going to go through my seasons. I know exactly when I can tap into that body space. I know what's going on. I don't get cramping anymore. It's extremely manageable. So there are even physical effects. It's not just psychological. It's not just mental and emotional that we get to develop through our connection to our womb, but it's really a lot of physical stuff too, and it's an incredible way to love your cycle. And I feel like we hear from women so often, like, oh, my period, just my cramping, just use a tamponer, take some Midol, get rid of it, and just like forget it's happening and move on with your thing.
Full on avoidance.
Yeah, it's really disrespecting our body. It's not honoring where we're at. It's not allowing ourselves to really tap into that space and understand and ask, what does she need from me? And I've fallen in love with my cycle. I think this live is so perfectly timed because I started bleeding yesterday. And I just feel like I'm so in my flow right now. I'm like, I'm so tuned in.
It's perfect. Perfect timing. I love that so much. Yeah, I think it's just yes to everything you said, because we are so quick to avoid parts of ourselves that feel uncomfortable, right? And as women, we're not taught about these things. We're not empowered to really shift the way that we're relating to them and thinking of them as actually a positive thing, right? And that's been a big shift for me as well, of like, I used to just not understand it, right? Because again, we're not taught. So it's like, I'd be like, okay, like I have my period, like whatever. Like it wasn't this like thing to appreciate. It was more just this thing that I would get through, right? Like go through the motions of it. And now that I understand it better, and I'm still learning myself, but now that I like actually am connected to just the cycle of it and the wisdom of it, it's like I have this greater appreciation for my body, for myself, for the the natural progression and trajectory of like, okay, now it's time to rest. Because just like you said, we are so conditioned to think that rest is lazy. Or when we have unprocessed trauma in our bodies, we don't feel safe to rest because when we get still, in that stillness is when unhealed, unprocessed emotion comes up. That's why if you see, oh, like if you can't sit still, do this walking meditation. Sure, walking meditations are great. Absolutely. But the goal is not to continue avoiding stillness because that's avoiding your body. That's avoiding the wisdom of your body. That's avoiding all of those signals that are coming up. Like when you described having a painful cycle, that's your body communicating to you. And we think that these things have been so normalized. They've been so normalized. Of course, you're just going to take Tylenol, aspirin, Motrin, just take a pill, make the pain go away. Like it's not supposed to be painful. It's actually supposed to be a natural thing. And because we think, oh, bleeding, of course, bleeding is painful, like we get so confused. And it's like, no, all of these, I've had actually a lot of clients that have struggled with PCOS and just like heavy bleeding and cramping and all these symptoms. And the more that I've dove deep into my physical healing journey I just did 6 months with a naturopath and just diving deeper and deeper into like learning what your actual blood looks like and what that's communicating to your body. Now I can look at that now I can look at that and be like, oh, this looks this way because of this. This is what's happening in my body. Like mind blowing, right? Like, and that gives me information. But if we just ignore those symptoms or those signals and that information, we never get to use that information to actually help us grow and evolve and heal. We're just avoiding ourselves again and again and again. So I love what you said about, it's not just the psychological, the spiritual, the emotional, it's the physical. I have always found with my clients, with my own healing journey, that the more that we dive into the root, which is usually emotional, trauma, disconnection from our bodies, the physical benefits that you experience from doing that emotional processing, it's just like the natural byproduct, right? Like I just lost 10 pounds in these 6 months of the naturopath. The goal wasn't, oh, I'm going to sign up and lose 10 pounds. The goal was, let me heal the root, which was my gut health, because I had a lot of medical trauma, which disrupted my gut health. And through that, the losing of the weight was just a natural byproduct. But when we're so fixated on the external, the surface, and we're not ever getting to the root, we're missing the whole point, right? So yeah. Oh, I'm
I
just
love that you said that so much, and it's a really beautiful thing because there's really cyclical living is not only living into with the seasons, but it's really understanding your body's rhythms. So our bodies do speak to us. Our bodies really will communicate what do we need. And that's the thing about birth control is that actually will cut off the connection between the body and the brain, saying, "Hey, body, same with pharmaceuticals. It's the same thing. What it does is it cuts off, it mutes our body's symptoms, saying, "Hey, something's wrong." We're just like, "Oh, let's just Band-Aid." Still going on, like the problem is still, running rampant and underneath that Band-Aid that we put on top of it. And so it's really beautiful to rip that off and uncover like what is the root of the problem here? What is the root of why is my body doing this? And so through cyclic living, we get to understand not only just our body's rhythms, but you can track your cycle without any birth control at all. It's incredible. This is how our ancestors have been doing it for so long. I'm so passionate about it because
I know, me too.
I'm discovering so much truth and natural wisdom that we have known and it's been hidden from us for so long. So I really feel incredibly blessed to be able to dive into this and understand it not only for myself, but be able to share this wisdom with my girlfriends and with the world. And it's changed the way that we see our bodies, our cycles, our mental health. It's all correlated. It's all related.
All connected.
Right? And like falling deeper in love with that process. Like how freaking incredible is it that we have cycles where our body naturally knows when to build up the lining of the uterus and when to release what's no longer serving us.
Right.
It's an incredible process.
Right.
And falling in love with that has only allowed me to fall in love with my body more and really be so grateful that my body knows what to do on its own.
I know.
It's incredible.
It's amazing.
So
it really is. And it just allows us to come home to our true wisdom and ourselves more than more than anything, right? We've been so conditioned to look outside of ourselves. The pills, the band-aids, the medicine, the we need this, we need that, we need like all of that is designed, right? To keep us disconnected from ourselves because what would this society actually look like if it was filled with people who were actually connected to themselves and their bodies and actually believed that we have everything we need within us, like truly, rather than making shit mean stuff about us of, oh, if we're resting, it means we're lazy, or oh, if we need to just hustle more. And so much of that is tied to our attachment wounding because we don't feel safe to actually honor our wisdom and our truth because that wisdom has been minimized, it's been judged, it's been repressed, right? And so we are living through this lens of fear of judgment, fear of loss, fear of abandonment, fear of that's all your inner child running the show. But when you step into your full embodiment of your adult, most powerful, authentic self, you actually learn so much about how much you've been outsourcing your power and outsourcing that wisdom. And then your mind is freaking blown. And then you're like, wow, why was I doing this that entire time? And of course, we have to be gentle with ourselves because we have literally been living in a traumatized and addicted society. And once we know better, we get to do better. And so now,
Every time.
yeah, so now we know better.
Conversation in person when we met, like our conversation was radical. I wish we recorded it.
I know that would have been a podcast all in and of itself.
Like it just was so beautiful to really be in that space of somebody who understands from such an incredible and intuitive way. Like, wow, once we know better, we really get to do better.
Yeah.
And here we are, both of us together as powerhouses,
right.
individually and then together. Like this
Oh.
live is honestly next level.
I know.
The fact that we get to connect and bring our gifts and our tools together to share this innate wisdom that we've discovered and uncovered for ourselves,
right.
and that we have the passion to want to share that for others. It's just incredibly life changing.
Yeah, it's a
So
gift that
much of what
keeps
we
on
share-
giving.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So much of what we were talking about is like, you know, I think we even talked about how the gut healing and the wound healing are so correlated. And I think it's just so incredible how subconsciously, I didn't know that when I got into either of those things. And
Right.
subconsciously, through the deprogramming, through the learning, through the serving the community, and the best way I knew how with these tools, I'm realizing, wow, how incredibly connected the womb and the gut are.
Yeah.
And how we hear all the time, oh, trust your gut. Oh, listen to your gut. What is
Right.
your gut saying? You know, that gut feeling. Well, I would never trust a gut that's not getting colonics.
No.
Honestly.
No, you're going to be listening to parasites.
Yes, you know, you're
Yeah.
parasites are full of toxins, and these things are actually coagulating and really disconnecting our body's connection from our brain.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. We talk a lot about parasites.
Totally.
They're a really, really relevant part. And you can have womb parasites too. That's another correlation, like a similarity. It's like there is you know, a creature that potentially lives inside the body. Everyone has them.
Yeah.
And they are connecting and communicating with our neuroreceptors in our brain, telling certain parts of our body to either shut off or stay dull and silent or crave certain things. And that's not actually listening to our body's intuition, our body's natural rhythms. We're being kind of cut off and thrown off balance with these things. And so that is why detoxing is so crucial. I feel honored to bring that. And I love that we got to work together in that space. Like we both have a deeper understanding of that because of what we got to go through together with our deep.
Totally. And it was like such perfect divine timing because I had just finished the liver cleanse and then we were starting to see like what was happening. And I was like, oh my God, like there's been a lot happening in here that I was not even aware of. And that's when clients come to me and they're like, but I can't hear my intuition or like, I can't trust my intuition. There's a reason for that, right? Like you are disconnected from it for so many reasons, like on and on and on, trauma and societal conditioning and health issues and like not even understanding how our cycles and bodies work. And once you have that knowledge and you actually start tuning in and you detox and you allow for drainage to happening, like the physical and the emotional drainage. I always say when I, especially with my men's group, because men have been so conditioned to not feel their feelings. So I run a men's group and all the time, like, oh, I haven't cried in, 3 years. And I'm like, you must be so emotionally constipated, right? Like we need to drain that out. So it's drainage in all senses of the word. And by doing that, you're clearing out so much energetic space, like so much space to actually allow that mind body connection, that clarity actually hearing what your intuition has to say. And when you start to tap into that, you'll notice just like other moments of clarity, other gifts starting to come out, and like you literally feel like on top of it where you're like, I'm fucking superwoman. Like you like don't even realize how powerful you are, because we again have been conditioned to believe that we need to outsource that. And so I really just encourage people listening to this to really look at, where are you not trusting you? Where do you not feel safe to connect to your intuition? And physically, emotionally, all of it, because it's all one and the same, it's all connected. What do you need to prioritize in order, in terms of your healing, in order to really start to connect in such a deeper way? And where are you outsourcing that power, and then actually instead coming back home to you? I remember the day that I decided to take my IUD out, I was like, in the first period I experienced after that, I was like, oh my God, like what? Like, why did I even put this thing in me to begin with? Like, it's just, and of course, I'm all for, making sure that you're intentionally protecting yourself and do all of that. I'm very passionate about that. Like, don't have babies unless you actually want to have babies. And if we actually have the knowledge and trust ourselves, like we can. I started tracking my cycle naturally too. And I used to always be way too anxious to do that because I didn't trust myself. I'm like, well, what if I mess up, or what if I don't understand and I don't want to get pregnant and da da da. But it's like it's knowledge, right? Knowledge is power. When you actually have that knowledge, you build that self-trust, and then it doesn't feel like this big scary thing. And of course, you can still have safe sex, right? We still want to promote that. And you can tune into your body.
Yes, there's so many keys of what you just said. I'm like, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. Yeah. So first of all, like going back to the emotional part of things, like in the work that I get to do with the physical release of lymphatic drainage and colonic therapy and yoni steaming, so deeply correlated with the emotions. And I get to guide my clients through this beautiful, really awareness meditation where I'm letting you know it's okay to tell your body it's safe to release. Because not only are we releasing physically, that's exactly where our emotions and our traumas are stored. Yeah. When we don't address our emotions and our traumas, they manifest in physical form in our body, and they get stored and stuck in our womb and our gut, which is another correlation between the womb and the gut. It's incredible. That's where everything gets stored and stuck. And so we're living this life with this coagulated, stuck stagnancy inside of our bodies. And we're thinking that we can trust our intuition from that. And that's just not the case. We get to release it. So through the physical release, it's opening up this portal or this physical detox pathway to allow for these emotions and traumas to come through. I have several clients on the table with me who we're having a great time, and suddenly they have this really powerful physical release, and they start to cry. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, why am I crying? And I'm like, yeah. Yes. Keep going. Like, this is the time, and this is the space to really remind yourself that you get to let this go. Yeah. And I'll communicate with the body. I'll always say this. My clients make fun of me for this, but whenever, like in a fun and playful way, whenever I have a client like they're releasing on this table with colonics or lymphatic drainage, I'll speak to the body and I'm like, you're safe, body. And I'll rub the belly. I'm like, you're safe, body. It's safe to release. Okay, body. Good job, body. Because our body has a natural wisdom. It's so intuitively incredible where it actually listens to us, which is why how we speak to ourselves is so incredibly crucial. How we speak, our body listens to everything we say on a cellular level. It recognizes how we're speaking about ourselves on a cellular level before our brain can even process it. Our body recognizes it. So saying it's safe, body, it's okay to release, is allowing us to tap into just a little bit into that intuitive nature, letting your body know, I hear you, I see you, I'm with you, I'm listening as best as I can, right? This is a safe space to feel. And I love that you mentioned that about the men's group and releasing emotions. It's such an incredible thing to understand, like how disconnected men have been programmed to be from their emotions. Yep. And how actually masculine and healthy it is to release them. Because if you're not releasing it, where is it going? It's going to be trapped and stored inside of your body. Yeah. And then we wonder why men's addiction rate is 4 times higher than women's, or the suicide rate is higher than women's. We all have emotional processing to do, no matter what gender we are, but because of men being conditioned in that way, they don't feel like, think about just the human nervous system to begin with. It doesn't feel safe to feel feelings because it registers it as a threat. Then on top of that, men have that extra layering, that extra conditioning of, if you feel your feelings, you're less of a man.
And then where does all that go? They then end up numbing with addictive behaviors, right? Like, oh, it's just,
Absolutely, because
yeah.
they're not given the tools to learn how to safely express, or maybe even given the space on how to express, right?
Yeah.
Something else I want to circle back to real quick is you talked about your liver detox, and that's how we initially connected.
Yeah.
You came in to see me about the liver detox, and it's so incredible. I'm learning about how to you have to excuse me. I find it incredibly crucial, and it's very beneficial for the body when you're ready to stop taking hormonal birth control, that you actually get to prep your body for that detox.
Right.
It's detox. You can't just stop taking a hormone that you've been, synthetically putting into your body.
Yeah.
And so how birth control, how the contraceptive of a hormonal birth control is processed through your body is actually through your liver. So if you're looking to detox off hormonal birth control, specifically the IUD, because it's pretty intense, which I was on for some time too, and had my whole experience.
Oh yeah, that was a journey.
That's like a whole other line.
Yeah.
But in order to really detox off this healthily, we actually really get to support our liver, and it's incredible. Like just deepening into that understanding and that awareness, like. What? How did I not know this? I just decided one day I'm just going to stop taking birth control. And I have all these crazy and incredibly horrible effects come in my body. And so now I feel honored to have actually had that horrible experience where I dove into the education of it. Like, okay, how could I have done this differently? And so now I have to offer that as support for other women. And I'm super stoked to say this past month, so December and January, I had 7 women, just friends of mine, who just heard me in passing or heard me passionately talking about detoxing off birth control. They messaged me all separately and were like, Gianna, you've inspired me. I got to get off this IUD. So I had 7 women come to me and say, how do I get off this IUD? How do I get off? How can I start tracking? And it just like lit me up. I'm like, wow, my own personal story is reaching other people, and women are wanting to, they're creating that connection with their body again. Yep. Incredible.
That is the healing domino effect of taking our power back, right? You inspire others and you're like, oh, if you could do it, I can do it too. So freaking powerful. Yeah. The day I took mine out, it truly feels like it was like the beginning of a whole spiritual awakening. I was like, oh, life is about to get just so much more connected and magical.
We tap deeper into that emotion and that awareness and our body's wisdom. It's just incredible.
It really is.
So I also want to preface the whole birth control conversation with like absolutely understand too. There's so many, everyone's in a different space.
Yeah.
And so like with the education that I get to share, it's solely coming from my experience and from like a scientific kind of, like what it really is doing in the body. So whenever I share anything about detoxing or getting off birth control, there is in no way any shame behind it whatsoever. And I have so many women who come to see me specifically who are like, I'm not ready to get off birth control yet, but like I want to still tap into my womb. And so we'll connect deeply into each specific situation with that. And we'll figure out ways that we can tap deeper into the womb, whether it be bleeding on the earth, which is also incredible. Am I talking too much, or can I share?
No, go ahead. Absolutely. I love it.
It's so incredible.
Yeah.
This is amazing. So we might have talked about this a little bit, but actually pouring your period blood on the earth is like giving back this. Our period blood, by the way, is full of rich nutrients and vitamins and DNA that can communicate with the earth. And so I have, for the last probably like 4 or 5 years starting this womb journey, I've actually been collecting my period blood. And this happened throughout a period of me really detoxing all the stuff that wasn't good for me to come to a place of healthy release. So there's like steps to take before this, but collecting my period blood and actually storing it in a jar in the fridge until I'm ready to pour it onto my plants. And my plants, let me tell you, have never, like my house is a jungle.
They are thriving.
Seriously, and
I believe it.
Yes, it's incredible. It's because there's nutrients and vitamins inside of our blood, inside of our DNA. That's actually it's life force energy.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And the earth, the plants, I love to go outside, especially like, my house plants, I do all the time, but I have an orange tree in my backyard that for 6 years never produced fruit, ever. Never. Look, no matter what I did, I'd water it, whatever, all the sunshine. Didn't really produce any fruit. It was kind of butchered. Once I started pouring my womb blood onto this plant, within 6 months, I started having the most delicious, fruitful oranges. Now this
Oh
tree will
my
not stop
God.
producing oranges. So if you want some, let me know.
I
They're
love that.
incredible. It's incredible. And I'm like, holy smokes, did my body really do that? Like, I was just doing it because I heard about it.
Yeah.
And
You're like, let me see if
started
this
actually,
works.
yeah, I started to develop a deeper relationship with the earth. And Mama Kaya is so fully and full of innate wisdom. And there's a connectivity point. I wrote this down specifically to share this too. If you pour your womb blood or your period blood onto growing food, right? Say you have seeds and you plant them and you pour them onto the food, your DNA that's in the blood and the intelligence of the earth actually communicates. And the fruit or food that you're growing grows the vitamins and nutrients that your specific body needs.
Oh.
If you do the same thing, if you like salivate on the seeds. So if you're
Oh
gonna
my
plant
God.
seeds, you can put them in your mouth, salivate on them a little bit, and it'll collect the DNA and all of the intelligence that our body has. And the intelligence in the seed will actually receive that and they'll communicate, and the food will grow what you specifically need. How incredible is that?
That is just mind blowing. Like, this is the shit we need to learn about in school. I swear, I'm going to start an alternative school one day and be like, we're going to have a whole class just on this. Like, that's wild. I had never heard of that before. That's amazing.
It's so cool. So I'm just deeping in and playing with things like this and just getting deeper into my body and honoring that space and recognizing that there's so much wisdom that's kind of flowing through me and out of me, and that this gets to be recycled. Just dumping it in a toilet or throwing it away, it just feels like a disservice to the life force energy that's flowing through my body. I get to recycle this and reuse it and allow it to transmute into something else more beautiful and grow food. Come on.
Oh my God. I mean, there's nothing more powerful than that. And I love it because it really, like you said, it just continues that cycle where it's just like flushing it down the toilet. It breaks that cycle and it's like, oh, we can actually use this in such a more potent way. Oh, that is mind blowing.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier too about like tapping into your body and recognizing like our body's communicating with us through our mucus, through our cervical fluid, through our blood, and understanding the textures, the colors.
Yeah.
So when you're saving your blood, when you're utilizing it on the earth, you actually can understand what's going on inside of the body deeper because of what's coming out.
Right.
So it's a really, really potent way to build a deeper relationship with your body.
Yeah.
And in turn, it's communicating with you.
Right. It's like the epitome of the external reflecting the internal, right? Let's look at what's actually happening externally to learn more information about what's happening internally in our bodies. Yeah. Oh my God. We are just so friggin' wise. I love it. Amazing. Well, I know we're keeping an eye on the time. Was there anything else that we haven't covered that you feel called to share, or anything that's lingering?
I could talk about this for decades. And so because of that, I have actually created an event, an idea.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are coming. Do you mind if I just
Oh my God, tell us. Yes, I would love that.
So I am planning to host another event in March. It's going to be all about cyclic living. So we're going to dive deep. I know today we just I kind of gave some nuggets. It's 222, by the way. I gave some nuggets. A little bit about our cycles, a little bit about what that means and what flow we're in and what season that we're in. And so within this workshop, we get to really dive deep and do some like working together. It's not just you're going to be listening to me talk the whole time. We're going to commune and we're going to share our experiences and our stories. And I get to really bring to fruition all of the stuff that I've been diving into and understanding a little bit deeper. And I want to hear from you guys too. So I'm getting to host an amazing event. It's all about cyclical living. And I also have a couple incredible speakers. One woman, she is actually a fertility specialist and a naturopathic doctor with a specific fertility thing. And also she's a holistic Chinese medicine doc. She has so many titles. And so she agreed to come in and share some of her wisdom about that as well. And I feel like I'm just so excited to connect with other women in this space and listen to each other's stories, because it's incredible how similar they are, and how when there's a group of women together with the intention of healing, how freaking powerful that space is. I don't know
Yep.
what from it's so powerful. And so when we come together with the intention of healing and educating ourselves and building that intentional community, there's seriously no other force on the earth more powerful than that. And so,
Yep.
yeah, I'm honored to share the space, and I'll be
Yay.
posting about that a little bit later.
I love that.
Soon.
And send me the details. I can put them in the show notes for people who want to reach out and attend. I think that just sounds amazing.
Yeah, we just get to support each other and bring our own wisdom. And so we're diving deep into the cycles and the body's rhythms and how we can support ourselves. And I'll have a couple of incredible vendors doing things like seed cycling and just providing physical tools for supporting our bodies. And so we'll just get super educated and have space to connect and create and heal. So every month that I do them, they're different themes. This one's going to be all about education and cyclical living. The next one's going to be about trauma release. And there's just so many that I have been sitting on for a long time. And I'm coming into this incredible rebirth. And I feel like it is time. I have been cocooning in my little cocoon. I've been gathering all the wisdom, understanding my body deeper so that I can
And now
share
you're ready.
Yes, it's just going to be so expansive. And the more that I connect with women like you and other people that come into my space and just like, wow, we are all on this wave of wanting to understand ourselves deeper. Like, look, so now we get to come together and really create a force not to be reckoned with.
Oh, I have no words. I mean, you just said it all. That is just, chef's kiss. It's so perfect. And this is just such a potent example of how when you are in alignment, you naturally just get so lit up, right? Like you talking about this, you're just like, yes, yes, yes. And me talking about it, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And so that in and of itself is your body communicating. Like this is a real time example of your body communicating to you. When I was out of alignment, I did not feel lit up like this. I was having conversations where I was counting down the minutes. I was, waiting for the clock to turn 5 so I could go home. I had the Sunday scaries. Like I was so out of alignment. And when I'm in alignment, your body just feels lit up, like truly. So the energy that you're feeling in this live, like it is two women in alignment, and there is nothing more powerful than that. So use this as an invitation to connect deeper of like where you're not in alignment, where you're not feeling lit up by your own life. Like if you're not waking up obsessed with your life, there are some changes that need to be made, and that's okay. We both had to go through many changes to get into alignment. Many times. It's a whole process, and it's supposed to be because there's a lot of growing and learning and healing and expanding in the meantime. So, those events sound amazing. Everyone should go check them out. Like, just chef's kiss to all of that. I love that you're also bringing in someone who has that experience as the Chinese medicine practitioner. Like, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. And then, yeah, for those that are wanting to dive deeper into nervous system healing and more of the emotional processing, I have some one-on-one private coaching spots open as well. And I have my men's group open for enrollment. And then today I actually just put my Powerfully Single course on sale for Valentine's Day. This is for any human that is single and wanting to embody a more connected, joyful, expansive period of being single and not associating it with this like heavy, shameful thing. So that is on sale starting today. So if you need any emotional support, come to me. If you need some powerful womb healing and detoxing and drainage, go see Gianna. She's amazing. I need to schedule my next appointment with you ASAP. I've been meaning to do that. And yeah, just reach out if you guys have any questions after listening to this live. You can drop them in the comments. And we will respond and connect with you. So thank you guys so much for being here and tuning in. It's been so, so, so amazing. And I will put all of your info in the show notes for people to find as well.
Great. So yay. Thank you for holding this space and creating this opportunity for us to connect and share. And I know there's going to be so much more. I can't believe the time has already gone by.
I know.
I'm so grateful to share this space with you, and I feel so honored to be seen by you. So thank you for showing up the way that you do and inviting me into this space to share my passion and my love too.
Yes, you're most welcome, and thank you. Thank you for being you and for being here. It is such a gift. So very, very grateful as well. Who knew the world of colonics could bring together two powerful women? I love it. And thank you guys. I'm just catching up on all the comments. Kara's watching this on her drive home. Amazing. Oh my goodness.
Showing up for yourselves today and tapping into everything that we got to share.
Oh, amazing. All right. I love you all. Love you, Gianna. And we will talk soon and have a beautiful rest of your days. Bye.